A rapid reaction battle series game 2 as Team Sooner wins it over Team Boomer 13-5. Just a quick reaction. I'll invite you tomorrow night, Thursday night at 8 p.m. for a live stream, live chat of this OU softball battle series thus far. I want your comments, I want your thoughts, and we'll go a little bit more in depth on what we saw from Wednesday night on this team. But a lot of offense tonight, a lot of things to like at the plate. We'll get to what happened in the circle, of course, but I got to start with the Ella Parker home run. And if you watched the preview video earlier this week, I kind of wanted the stars to be star. One of the things that I was looking for going in this game is you know what you have in terms of star power, so even this early on in the fall, let's see that star power. Let's see that star power hit the ball out of the park, square some balls up, and look, that 3-run home run that Ella Parker hit, there's a lot of players in this sport, a lot of players in the SEC that can hit the softball out of the ballpark. That's not new. But to hit a home run like that, you're not going to see very many players hit the ball like Ella Parker can. And we saw it in the top of the first inning last night. I mean, just wow. Wow, the incredible amount of power that she has, how good she is at the plate. She's a star. She's maybe the star of this team, and I think she's certainly one of the stars of the SEC. And when she hits a home run like that, you kind of stand up a little bit and say, yeah, that one looks and it sounds a little bit different than any of the other home runs I'm accustomed to seeing in college softball. But Ella Parker, fantastic, hits a home run like that. Nobody's surprised. Nobody's surprised by Ella Parker, but still very, very impressed with what she does to the plate. And she's really turned into one of those players now that every time she steps to the batter's box, you stop what you're doing and you watch Ella Parker because you feel like every single time she steps up to the plate, something special is about to happen. Most of the time, judging by the numbers last year and what we've seen so far in the battle series, that's exactly what happens. But a lot of home runs tonight. Ella Parker hits a 3-run bomb. Isabella Emmerling hit the line drive home run. Cassidy Pickering hit a home run late in the game for the first Team Boomer runs of the night. And then Sid Sanders, again in the 7th inning for the second consecutive game. Tonight didn't tie it like it did last Wednesday. It just cut the deficit a little bit. But Sid Sanders hits another home run in her last at-bat of the game. But just a lot of power tonight, a lot of home runs. And, you know, one of the comments that I've kind of heard throughout the offseason is, well, without Kinsey, without Jada, without Tiare, without some of the players that you lost last year, where's the power going to come from? Where are the home runs going to come from? And I definitely think that you need power throughout the order. And OU certainly had that consistently throughout its run as 4 consecutive national championships. But an offense can be more than power. It can be speed and athleticism like I think this lineup has. But one thing that I've been pretty consistent on is, I don't think that this team needs to hit as many home runs as the team 2 years ago or the team 3 years ago to be one of the best power-hitting teams in all the SEC or in college softball. Like, this team will probably not hit as many home runs as the team 2 and 3 years ago, but they still might be top tier in the sport when it comes to home runs this year. Like, in terms of things that I worry about or even question with this team, I guess power numbers really aren't a big part to me. Ella Parker, I know that she's got as much power as anyone else in college softball. Isabella Emmerling, she's had numbers previously. She's more than capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Cassidy Pickering, she was fantastic as a true freshman. I expect only better things here moving forward from her sophomore year. I know she has power, and I know Sid Sanders has power as well. She squares a ball up, it's getting out of the yard, just like it did tonight in the 7th inning. What a shot that was. So I don't worry about the power numbers. The power numbers don't have to look like Jocelyn Alla was in the lineup for you to hit enough home runs to be considered one of the more elite offenses in the sport. And I think tonight that was a showcase that, whether it was Ella Parker's home run or Sid Sanders' home run, some of these home runs aren't just barely getting over the wall. They're clearing the wall, and they're absolute tanks, absolute no-doubters. So will OU have an offensive lineup this year, 1 through 9, where anybody can hit the ball out of the ballpark and everyone 1 through 9 is going to hit over 10 home runs this year? No. But I don't think that you need that to be an elite offense, and it was good to see so many hitters and kind of who we think are some of the best power hitters on the team go yard tonight on a Wednesday night in the battle series. So I love to see that. I love to see the power at the plate. I love to see the production at the plate. I love to see the young players that were involved early in the lineup. Gabby Garcia, who everyone loves and for great reason, she led off tonight. There were a lot of lefties at the top of the order coming out in tonight's game. But offensively, not much to complain about. I mean, clearly Team Sooner kind of outpaced Team Boomer in terms of overall runs, but Cassidy Pickering get the home run late. Sid Sanders getting the home run late as well. Just up and down the order, I think that you like the power that you're seeing right now early on in fall. It doesn't mean that this team is necessarily going to lead college softball in home runs this year, but I think that we can tell just the natural talent this team has at the plate, and I think there's a lot to like power-wise. This team will hit for average. I think this team is going to be able to steal bases and kind of move runners that way, but it's also going to hit the ball out of the park. And don't think just because we're not talking about the gaudy amount of home runs of recent years, this team is still going to be able to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and I really don't doubt that for a second. In the circle, I think Sam Landry was excellent. She had 3 scoreless innings to start off the game, and to me, Sam Landry has looked like your best pitcher up to this point. I think she's been good. I think she's been consistent. I think she comes out early and throws strikes, just gets hitters out. I know she just had a 1-2-3 quick inning in the top of the first inning, and that's what you want to see as you really evaluate who you want your starters to be, who you want your ace to be, because let's face it, we're still trying to figure that out, who the ace of this staff is going to be. And even though it's just a battle series game, you're going up against some really good competition. Like we just talked about it with the offensive production tonight and all the home runs. Like regardless of who's in the circle, regardless of which team they're on, Team Boomer or Team Sooner, you're going to face a lineup, especially at the top, chock full of really, really good hitters. I mean, this is the University of Oklahoma, for crying out loud. You know that when you pitch in the battle series, this is going to be one of the more difficult lineups that you're going to see throughout your career. So for Sam Landry just to come out and be in control, an easy 1-2-3 inning, I like that a lot. She looks confident. She looks sharp. She's kind of everything that you're hoping that she would be coming out of the transfer portal. And like I said, I think she's looked like your best pitcher so far up to this point. Maya Bland defensively stood out, threw out a runner at third base to end the inning, and we're seeing a lot of these outfielders so far. I like being aggressive on the base paths. I like that a lot. I think that it puts everyone in a very interesting situation in a game like this. It makes the base runners be aggressive, but that puts pressure on these outfielders. And it forces these outfielders to make good throws and make good plays and just to kind of convert what would be, a throw from the outfield and a tag from the third baseman, second baseman, whatever. And those have been executed. You had 2 plays last week that where an outfielder threw somebody out, once at third, once at home. Happened again tonight with Maya Bland throwing somebody out at third base to end the inning. So I really like that aspect, that these outfielders in their arm look really, really good and very, very capable of coming up and throwing some runners out. Peyton Monticelli got the start tonight too. Apparently the staff really likes her upside and her stuff, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow night on the live show. Didn't get off to the best start. I mean, I'm not going to really fault anyone for giving up a tank like that to Ella Parker. But I got a lot to say on Peyton Monticelli. I'm hoping that she kind of reaches her peak as a player, realizes her true potential, because I do think that there's a lot of good that can come from that. Tia Malloy, I thought, was good offensively tonight. Like to see Gabby Garcia in that leadoff spot just to see what she can do. A lot of lefties in the order, like I mentioned earlier. But overall, I think a good night. Not perfect. No one expects it to be perfect. Doesn't need to be perfect right now. In fact, I think tonight is another night where you say, well, there's a lot of good offensively, and you like what Sam Landry's bringing you and some other things in the circle as well. But it's just not a bad thing if this team really has to work on some things and improve some things. I mean, every team in college softball, the 4 consecutive champs included, have got things to work on this offseason. Everyone, Texas, Florida, UCLA, everyone else that plays the sport, their focus is on getting better. And that's what Patty told the TV crew before the game is, one of my main goals is I want to see overall improvement. I want to see that it's very obvious that this team looked much better in 1 week. Like they look much better tonight than they did last week. And we'll go into a deep dive on if they accomplished that or not. But in terms of the power numbers, they absolutely accomplished that. And that's my big story tonight. Ella Parker with a mammoth bomb that few players in college softball can hit the softball like that. But you just had so many players contribute power-wise tonight. It's a good night. A lot of good, but enough to go back and say, we've got to do this a lot better. And that's kind of the progression when you're talking about a team, a young team, a team that's trying to grow together, that's trying to progress throughout the season. Like, this is not bad things if you see things that need to be better throughout the battle series. It's normal, and you know Patty Gasso is going to harp on that throughout the week of practice. So, quick reaction there. Like what I saw tonight. It's always fun seeing this team just hit incredible home runs and the light show there at Love's Field to follow. But hope to see you at 8 p.m. on Thursday night. Team Sooner wins it over Team Boomer 13-5. No tie tonight, but a lot of fireworks at Love's Field with all the home runs that we saw.